Hey everybody, I just want to jump on here real quick and let you know that when we were editing the video, we had some audio issues going on, really low volume. So I just wanted to let y'all know that beforehand. So throw in some headphones, crank that volume up, whatever you got to do. Enjoy the video. Them burn-ins were awesome. Thanks for watching. Hey, welcome back to Smoking with the Robinsons. Today we have one of our favorite cuts of meat to eat, and that is a brisket point. Now the point on a whole packer brisket lays up under the flat, so they just separated this off and you have just the point here. So in competitions, this is where burn ends come from. A lot of you may have heard of burn ends, some of you may not have, but what burn ends are is you cook this and then you cube them up, and then that's what they call burn ends. So this point is from the butcher shop in Pensacola, Florida. This is a Wagyu A9. You can tell all the fat striations. It's an awesome looking piece of meat. We have not touched this. This is how it came right out of the package. So let's get this thing seasoned up. Today we're going to be using 3 different seasonings today. The first one we're going to go with is Killer Hogs, the AP rub. This is just going to give you that salt, pepper, garlic flavor. The next is the Frying Pig Midwest butt stuff. This has got a little heat to it, so that'll go good with these burn ends. Next, we're going to use Firedancer pork rub. That's going to give just an awesome all-around flavor, color. So let's get going. We're going to take this AP rub. We're going to go about a medium coat across this whole thing. Make sure we get our edges. Next, we're going to come out with the Midwest butt stuff. This has got a really good color as well. We're going to do a light to medium coat to this. And then coming back with the Firedancer pork rub. Once again, about a light to medium coat of this as well. Get these sides. Give it a little pat. We're going to let this hang out for just a minute, and we're going to flip it over and we're going to do the other side, and then it'll be time to get this gateway drum fired up, so we'll come back to you whenever we fire that up. We've got our fire basket out of our gateway drum smoker, so we're going to go ahead and put some Royal Oak lump charcoal in. Fill it about half to 3/4 of the way up. Next thing we're going to do is take our Royal Oak tumbleweed fire starter. We're going to stick that right in the middle. We're going to light this. And we're going to go ahead and set this basket back in the drum. Just right in the middle will work. So we're going to let this go for usually about 20 minutes before we put the lid on. So whenever we go to add some wood, we'll let y'all know. Alright, this charcoal is ready to basically put the lid on. If you can see, we've got a spot burning pretty good right in the middle, and so once it gets to about the size of a softball, that's usually when I like to put the lid on, put all the grates in. We're going to use 1 chunk of hickory wood today, and I just kind of like to lay it right on the edge. I normally don't put it right in the middle because it's still going to be a little while before we start cooking. So I'm going to put this bottom grate in, And we are going to take us just a piece of aluminum foil and we're going to lay it right on the edge. And what that's going to do is if the brisket point kind of starts getting a little dark or cooking too fast, we can set it over this piece of aluminum foil and it kind of blocks that just direct heat from it. So we're going to get this lid on, intakes and exhaust opened up all the way. This is going to start climbing up. We're looking for around 300 degrees, maybe even a little bit higher. So this will start coming up. Once it's time to put this on, we'll come back to you. The smoker's hit right at about 275 degrees, and this is where we like to go ahead and shut down our intakes. And so we like to shut them down to about right there. And so it still will climb up just a little bit, but it'll level out, and then we'll get this brisket point on. I'm ready. This gateway drum smoker is where we want it. Setting straight up and down, which is 300 degrees. The seasonings have sweated down and looking good on this thing. Let's get this brisket point on. So I told you we put the foil over here. It's just going to hang out. We're actually going to put our brisket point on that side where we can get some of that direct heat. This thing's going to drip down on them coals. That's what's going to give us some awesome flavor. So we're going to let this thing go for probably an hour before we even look at it. We'll bring you back whenever we open this thing up. This brisket point has been on right at an hour now. So we're going to take a look at it. Looking good. Getting some good color on it. This bottom's probably, see that sizzle right there? So what we're going to do is we're going to flip this thing upside down and let that other side get some good color on it. So we'll probably come back in about 30 minutes and we'll probably move it over our piece of foil where it's not getting direct heat, and then we'll wrap it just a little bit after that. Hang with us. We've been right at another 30 minutes, so we are going to check this out. We got some good sizzling going in on that fat. Let's check the other side. It's looking good. I think it's time for this to wrap. All this black is that fat that was on there that has got a good crisp on it. So we're going to take this back to the table and we're going to get it wrapped up. Alright, we got this thing just in an aluminum pan, and we've got 2 pieces of heavy duty aluminum foil. So we're going to wrap this. We like to do it in 2 pieces where no juice gets out, or if one piece happens to rip, you got a second one there. So our wrap liquid is 10 ounces of beef consomme and 10 ounces of water. We probably won't use all this, but we're just going to pour it in. I'm making a mess. To about right there, about halfway up. And so we're going to take our foil and that's all we're going to do right there. We're going to leave it in this pan just to kind of make it a little easier to transport in and out. So we will probably let this go around an hour, and then we'll start checking our tenderness. So let's get this thing back on. Alright, we're going to put this back on. We're just going to set it right here in the middle. Still got a good smoke rolling, but we've got enough smoke on it now. We're going to shut the lid and let it finish off. We've been right at 3 hours and 20 minutes on this brisket point. And so I think it's done. We're going to check it. So how we check this is we take our thermopin. You can use any thermometer, toothpick, and you just want it to go in there. That's just from the weight of the thermometer going in. So it is good and tender. And so that's how we know that it's done. If we were going to temp this one, it's setting right at 212 degrees. You don't really want to go off just temperature because that can be different in every piece of meat depending on the quality and whatever. So what we're going to do is go ahead and cover this back up, and we're going to let it rest for at least an hour. And so I have our, what we call our barbecue towel sitting here. So all I'm going to do is set that here. We're going to cover that, and that's going to hold our heat in, and that'll keep it hot for a while. It's not cold outside, so we'll come back in about an hour after this thing is rest. We'll get it cubed up, sauced up, get it back on the grill, see how we did. Y'all stick around. Alright, we have let this rest right at about an hour and 20 minutes. It's looking good. Another thing that we did is we used some of the Smoke This Kansas City style barbecue sauce, and all we did is added a little bit in this loaf pan, and then we took some of the au jus from the pan and mixed it in, so we'll use that to sauce these burnt ends. But the next thing to do, get to cubing up. And so all we do is, in a contest, we want these to be as even as possible. So we try to make them all the same size cubes. And obviously we're kind of thinner up here, get a little thicker in the back. That's all right. Still good and tender. So now I like to turn the whole thing here, get everything lined up, and we'll start going at it this way. I may leave this thick part for a little snack later. I think my wife's got some nachos on the menu, so she'll want these bigger pieces. So what we're going to do here with these is we're going to come back with our sauce, and I'm going to go ahead and put these just on a cooling rack where it's easier to transfer, because after we sauce, we're going to put these back on the smoker. So we're going to take our sauce here, and we thinned it down with that au jus. So we're just going to sauce all this. They're looking really good. You can sauce them as much or as little as you would like. So now we're going to put this back on the smoker. If you want to follow me around. And we're just going to set it back on there for a few minutes, set that sauce, get a little bit of heat back in it, and we'll come back to you when it's time to try these things. The wait is finally over. We sauced them. We put them back on the smoker for about 5 minutes just to kind of set this sauce. We cubed them up. We took off our end pieces, so this is what we would choose from in a contest. They're looking good. I'm going to grab this one right here. Just melts in your mouth. Very, very good. So, a little recap of what we did. We started off with a brisket point that was an A9 Wagyu from the butcher shop. We started off seasoning with the Killer Hogs. We then put the frying pig and then the Firedancer pork rub. We smoked this for about an hour and a half straight over the coals, and then wrapped it up, and we used a mixture of 10 ounces of beef consomme and 10 ounces of water and we just kind of filled it up till it was about halfway up the meat, and then we wrapped the foil around it, put it back in. Total cook time of about 3.5 hours, and then we let it rest for about an hour and 15 minutes afterwards. And then we took a little loaf pan and took the smoked this Kansas City style sauce, put it in the loaf pan, mixed some of the au jus with it, put it on these after we cubed them up, put it back on the Gateway drum smoker to set that sauce. They're a winner in my book. We want to thank everybody for watching today. We had fun doing this. We're fixing to have a lot more fun eating this here in a minute. But if you haven't subscribed to our channel so you don't miss any videos, follow us on social media. We're going on Instagram. We're still working on that Facebook page, but we're getting there. Make sure to hit the bell where you don't miss anything on YouTube. It'll notify you every time we post a new video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.